Any questions and such? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Talk about how much was script and how much was ad lib.
Yeah, questions, how much is script versus ad lib? We work from a traditional script. Studios like to have that too. We encourage our actors to sort of improvise the dialogue to make it fresh for themselves. Like, we'll have written jokes that, even though they say they don't, you know they've practiced in the mirror, and then we try to rewrite them on the set just so that they're saying it for the first time. And we also shoot our scripts in chronological order so that usually the story points don't change at all. We know exactly where that's headed, but the little interpersonal dynamics, you learn a lot as you go along, so we get to build things. You know, Jonah had a much more fun dark side than we anticipated, so we got to like expand on that as we went along. Yes?
Can you talk about the use of the voiceovers during the intimate dialogue scenes? You often see people without talking. Is that something you decide ahead of time, or is that more post-production?
Question was the use of the technique where people were talking, kind of voiceover, you hear their voices but not see them talking. The way that sort of birthed, this is very classic us, was just like a botched scene, basically, that, you know, the first John and Marissa scene where we wanted that real romance to take off, where he has her over for dinner. We got a great scene that we were inspired by that was awkward and fun because we love the awkward stuff. But when we put it together, we realized, like, man, this is not that launching pad into the romance that we need. So we were worried. And our editor, Jay Doobie, who's kind of like our third brother, he was like, I got an idea, you're probably not going to like it, but give me like a couple of hours. And he put together something like that, and we really loved it. So we decided to make a motif out of it and just go with it. Yes, sir, in the back.
Maybe it's a question for the DP, but I was curious about your decision to use the zoom in, zoom out technique.
Questions about the zooming in. You know, we shoot on digital cameras. The way we shoot our scenes, it's become, you know, a sort of functional aesthetic in that we don't do any traditional blocking. We like the scenes 360. And in doing so, we find that the actors feel real free. They get in the spirit of fun. So literally, it's not us trying to be like MTV cool. Like, the cameramen are literally trying to catch up and reframe as we go. And we find that at times, there's kind of two functions. One, it's accidental, makes you feel like you're, you know, in a documentary a little bit. But sometimes, you know, if you want to telegraph an emotion without having the actor push more emotion, find if you just pop in a little bit, you get a little something extra. It's just kind of a style thing that is half functional, and then we kind of started liking it. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the script sort of took on a life of its own as the actors sort of add their own characteristics and dimensions. Now, when you wrote the script, did you have any actors in particular that you had in mind?
Question was about when we wrote the script, do we have actors in mind? We started writing the script about halfway through. We're like, oh, there's a reason we named him John. Yeah, there's pretty much one guy to play this. So definitely John Riley was a big thing for us. And then we met Jonah, who was just a real big fan of one of our other films, The Puffy Chair. And we met him after we had written the script. And once we met with him, we kind of started to tailor it to him. And same thing with Marissa. Yes?
It seemed like, maybe this is just me, but at the wedding, it turned sort of from like a dark comedy more just into a drama for the most part. Was that something you had planned, or is that just something that had to happen?
You know, I look back, my brother and I look at our movies and it's like, oh, they're funny, we have fun for a while, and then we get serious. That's just kind of what happens. I don't know why. It's like our taste or our rhythms, you know. We try to build our comedies as much as possible on human stuff and emotional stuff that means a lot to us, so inevitably we end up wanting to go there, kind of thing. So I think we're kind of just like helplessly ourselves on that front. Not really a choice. Yes, sir?
Where did the idea for this come from? Was it personal experience?
I was a big kid, and when we made our first feature, The Puffy Chair, we were like, well, let's make a road movie, but kind of do our version of it, you know. And then when we made our last feature, Baghead, we were like, let's make a horror movie, but that's kind of like a sensitive relationship horror movie. And this was us, you know, trying to do a rom-com and like breathe something interesting or new into the rom-com, in particular a love triangle. And once we got there, we're like, let's replace one of those three legs with, you know, a non-romantic component who happens to be like a 20-year-old world musician with a 40-yard stare of death. So. Oh, right there. Sorry, sir.
Hey, where'd you find your CYRUS? Did you do a talent search or what? I've never seen it before.
His question was about CYRUS. He's a guy named Jonah Hill, and he's been in one really popular teen comedy called Superbad. And he's been in a lot of Judd Apatow's movies. Do you know him? Anyway, he's a director who uses a lot of improvisation in a more straight comedy vein. And we thought, you know, good, Jonah knows improv, and we met with him. He's super smart, really amazing kid, and so thought he would be a real good fit. What do you think? I'm just tying your shoe over there, just taking it in. Sorry, I missed one. Did you say this? Okay. Okay. Yes. We shot the movie in 6 5-day weeks. It took a while to develop. We made this with Fox Searchlight, and you know, the previous biggest budget we had before this was like $50,000. So it was a growth process, and we wanted to really like try and maintain the intimacy of the movies we'd done before while still having 80 crew members around. So we had to figure it all out. Yes, sir.
You said you shot it in chronological order. Did that, I guess, affect the shooting time any? Like, it seems like going back and forth between locations.
You know, when I say chronological order, it happens about 90% in chronological order, like establishing shots and stuff. Like, okay, I'll group those together, you know. But, you know, we just rented the house for the 6 weeks, and we would just pop in and out. We were all within a couple of miles on the east side of LA. It didn't put as much of a wrench in it as you'd imagine. The studio freaks when you say that, and they're like, no, it's expensive. But we budgeted it out, and it's not bad. It really wasn't, at least in this case, it wasn't terrible. Yes, ma'am.
It seemed as if the John C. Reilly character was CYRUS, and Catherine Keener.
Mm-hmm.
Was that intentional, or
You're super smart. You're an English major. She says that the John C. Reilly character was sort of a CYRUS to Catherine Keener. Someone else pointed that at another screening. I've never thought about it that way at all. But that just shows you how great my instincts are as a writer, really. It was there, I just didn't know it. We did like the idea that CYRUS was maybe a younger version of John, and that's the thing that Molly, who's this completely hot girl, totally out of John's league, would be attracted to the sort of lovable loser in him that is CYRUS. She kind of wants to live in the world where guys like CYRUS get the girl like her on some level, but I didn't put that other thing together. In the back with the hat. You got a hat on? Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a disturbed individual, but in the first third, with CYRUS and his mother, there was almost like this creepy Oedipus thing going on, and then it sort of just evolved into this them being really close. Was it ever in the outline that it would continue being creepy, or is that just how it always was?
I feel like he's pretty creepy throughout, but in terms of the sexual stuff up front, I mean, there's little things with the shower, and I mean, I don't think you're crazy for thinking that. In our minds, it was basically that CYRUS and Molly fulfill every aspect of each other's life except for the true sexual component, you know, and that gets a little confusing at times, but, you know, we didn't really want to go too much further than that. Yeah.
Was the reconciliation, tender glare ending the only one you imagined up, or did you have others?
I want to get those words right as I repeat this question. Was the reconciliation tender glare the only ending option, which I think is good. Everybody always names their scenes something weird in The Avid, or, you know, it's like, that would have been one of ours. We shot some more stuff for the ending, and we always liked this version. It felt right to us, appropriately open-ended. But there was definitely the version where Cyrus comes out and drops Molly off the porch and murders her. And that was big in Germany. Yes, sir.
Did you ever have any more parts where they kind of decided that the war was on? Where kind of like they just show each other, down each other?
That's a great question. It's about more parts where the war was on. This was a big discussion between us and Fox Searchlight and testing the movie, and there was a time where there was some discussion of really creating a big war scene. And Jay and I thought about, because we're really not those kind of auteurs that are like, no, we have to stick to our vision. We want to please our audiences. And we kept thinking about it, and we really couldn't come up with something that wasn't over the top and cheesy and would steer this thing into the realm of like Step Brothers or something like that. And we wanted to keep it, you know, on the other side of it. So if we couldn't come up with something with integrity that was fun, I think we would have done it. We didn't have it. Yes? Mike Andrews did all the music for the movie. He did Donnie Darko and Me, You, and Everyone We Know. And he did all the Walk Hard music. He's a real great musician. And he wrote all the CYRUS music as well, which is probably the most fun doing this movie. Yes, sir, in the back.
If possible, can you talk about what's going to be next for Duplass Brothers?
Yes, for the Duplass Brothers, I'll speak of myself in the third person. We're doing a movie. We're literally going into prep tomorrow that Jason Reitman is producing for us, who's been really good to us, because Jay and I have gotten a lot of good critical reviews, but we haven't made any money yet for any studios, and he has, and so he really like wields a big stick, and we're just kind of like behind him, and he's just like, let them make their movie. So we're gonna shoot that in April, and it's called Jeff Who Lives at Home, and it's something we've been kind of keeping in our back pocket for a while when we found the right way to do it. Yes? Oh, you're just stretching. Well, you're fucked. You gotta say something now.
It was really good, thanks.
Good question. Excellent question. Rhetorical questions. It was all shot on the east side of LA. It's near where my brother and I live, and we really liked the idea that, you know, she had sort of plunked down some money on a cheap Craftsman house, and she just kind of, you know, works freelance to make some money, but likes to spend her life with her son. So, yes, sir.
You said lower budget, so I'm assuming you guys have always shot digitally.
Yes.
And I think one of you served as a DP.
My brother is the lead camera operator, but we have a DP who lights everything.
What's the bigger, but any like desire to shoot on film?
You know, we're interested in shooting on film. The major limitation for us is we're shooting 2 or 3 cameras at a time. There's no blocking, so you got to stay mobile. And we shoot 15 to 20 minute takes at times, because we'll do a scene, and then once the actors are done with it, we'll have them start over right again, and we'll spit out a couple of lines to them. We'll talk to them during the take, and then they'll kind of spit them right back at us, and it comes out real fresh, we find, doing that. And so to have a 35mm camera that shoots an 11-minute load, it's like 50 pounds, and my brother's like 5'8", 150. So it's been a functional thing so far. And also, we're pulling focus on the fly. There's no marks, and you cannot get really good monitoring off of 35mm cameras. But the Red has like awesome HD monitor, and we have guys like literally playing guitar, just pulling focus as we go. So it helps our style a lot to be digital. We have time for one more question. Now everybody's getting nervous because this has to be the good one. Oh, there it is.
All right. Do you like acting or directing, and how do you view it versus television now?
Hump day was great.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. All 4 of you guys saw it. Huh? I like both, obviously. You know, it's very stressful making films, and the reward tends to be a little greater because you live so long with the project and you come out and you feel great. Acting is a little more low pressure, particularly this improv show that I'm doing now. So it's more like creative fun that I don't have to stress out about because they have to edit it. I just go home and play with my kid. So I think directing one movie a year and maybe acting in something a year. It was like some semblance of a balance in this weird industry. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.